This video is going to show you the steps of manually importing data in the case where you don't have a data logger set up and you're able to access your data remotely. You have to actually go to your analyzer and download the data. You can import that data into Crest. That could be 5-minute data, 1-minute data, or hourly data. And in this example, we're going to be importing PM10 concentrations. And I've already set up the level 0 validation limits that Crest calls the alerting limits because I want Crest to identify and flag and actually show in different colors in the graph the data that doesn't meet my level 0 validation requirements. So to start off, like with anything, you go to the secure dashboard and then you go to Air Data and then you click on Manual Import. And here you get the selection Select Import Type. I have hour to hour to hour values for PM10 concentration that I downloaded directly off of my TOM. So I'm going to click Hourly. I am going to select ITEP 2 because that's my agency, and Site 9001, which is ITEP training. And here it says Select Import Template. What does that mean? So the thing is, Crest needs to know what you're importing and which column it's in. So you need to set up an import template, and once you do that, Crest will save it and you can use it again as long as you keep your data in that same format. And sometimes you may have multiple import templates if you're importing data that you downloaded from different monitors or that you downloaded at different times. You may have data coming out in different formats, so you can have multiple import templates. So to set an import template, you click this plus sign, and that brings you to this panel called Import Config. We're going to call this Importing PM10. And in the description, you can say a little bit more. And I'm going to say from TOM. Crest now needs to know about the data. So it's asking me questions about my data. So let me find my data. And I've just opened this up in Notepad. And you can see that the first column is date. And this is comma separated values. The second column is time. And the third column is PM10 mass concentration for that hour. And these values are separated by commas in this data file that I'm looking at right now. So that means for the delimiter, I'm going to select comma. For the local time zone, I have to have that, and I'm right now in Pacific time. For the datetime output type, is this local time or universal time? My TOM outputs data in local time, I know. And the next question is date column. So which column is the date in? That's in column 1. And the format, if I click the down arrow, I've got a choice for the date of year, year, month, month, day, day, or month, month, day, day, year, year, year. Let's take a look at my data, and I could see that it's month, month, day, day, year, year, year. And that is one of the items in the drop-down list, so I can select that. If your data has different formats, we'll show you how to set your data so that it's one of these formats. It's pretty easily done. Now the next question is time. That's in the second column. And then the time format, I have a choice of hour, hour, minute, minute, second, second, or hour, hour, minute, minute. I look at my data. It is hour, hour, colon, minute, minute. So here I select hour, hour, colon, minute, minute. I see that there are more items, so I pull this grabber bar down on the right, and I don't go back to import screen until I've saved this. If I try to go back, it will say, really? And I say, no, 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 I want to stay here and save. Once I click save for this import config, now this column mapping is over here. And again, you can set up this column mapping differently for different files that you may have to import, and that would just be a different config name. So we're going to click add, and now Crest says, okay, well, which one of your monitors is going to be in this column? And so here it's looking at the different parameters that we've set up as monitors in Crest for this site, and one of them is PM10. So we're going to select that, and Crest is saying, well, which column is your PM10? Because you may have a file that has all kinds of other stuff that you don't necessarily want to import into Crest. You just want to import that column with the PM10. In this case, it's all we have in this file, so I'm going to say it's in column 3. You can click here for advanced options if, for example, you wanted to let Crest know that this is something other than average, which is the default. Rounding decimals, I'm going to leave these blank. Adjustment factor is if you need to adjust your data from your data logger because of some particular situation going on with your data logger. So I just want to set this as PM10 in column 3. I click Save, and now it shows up here in this column mapping. So now I have this config stored, importing PM10. So now we're ready to import this TOM data from January 2020. And we go back to the import screen. We've saved this config name. And this next question, schedule validation check, min, max, stuck values on hourly data following import. So this is saying, okay, we have these alert limits for minimum, maximum, for the amount change from one record to the next. Do you want these level 0 validation checks to be performed on this imported TOM data? Yes, we do. And now we have this big blank panel that says paste data here, which seems too simple, doesn't it? All we have to do, and you can paste a lot of data there, just start with the date, don't include the headers, and select, in this case, a month's worth of data from my TOM. Control C to copy it out of my notepad. Control V to paste it into this panel. I say import data, ba-bum! And depending upon how much data you are importing, it may take a while, but as you can see, a month's worth of hourly data only took like a second. So it tells you 258 records were successfully imported, and that is important for you so that you can keep track of what's been imported. But don't worry, Crest keeps track of it for you, because you can go into import history and you can see the data that you imported. And if you wanted to, and sometimes, especially when just starting out, you may import bunches of data, you could take a look at it again by clicking here and downloading those same records and seeing exactly what it was that you imported. If, for example, this happens when your puppy is barking in the background, you make a mistake and you realize, oh no, that wasn't my TOM data, I don't want to import that, you can click here and delete those records. And over time, you'll see all of your imports here. So now let's go back to the import screen, and you can see that it's ready for more import. So now let's take a look at that data that we just imported. I'm super excited to do this.